Shalom. First and foremost, all praise, all honor, all glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, who still rule and teach well. Peace and blessings and safety unto the Lord's elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, mainly in America, pushing this word in humility and sincerity as commanded by Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. The title of this lesson is The Dogs to Tear. The Dogs to Tear. And that's a direct quote from Jeremiah, the 15th chapter, because we kind of went into this at camp, um, dealing with this prophecy here, man. Okay, because this is a prophecy, and I foresee this being a major thing that's gonna take place. This is gonna be a major problem in Jacob's trouble because a lot of people have dogs, um, especially Edomites. Okay, and a lot of the dogs are smaller dogs. A lot of you people are gonna eat your dogs. A lot of you Moabites, you're gonna eat your cats and your dogs in the days to come because of the famine. But um, a lot of those dogs, those smaller dogs, will be eaten, by other bigger dogs. But then again, you have a lot of people that have big dogs too. And so the Lord said He would appoint four kinds of judgment over this place, Babylon the Great. And I'm gonna read that real quick, and then I'm gonna go into the statistics because I wanted to see how many dogs are actually in America because there's a saying, man's best friend. That's talking about the canine, the dog. Esau loves dogs practically more than he loves, humans. you know, Job said he would disdain to have set this man with the dogs of his flock, because the Edomite they'll lay down with their dogs. That's how they kiss their dogs on the mouth. They try to tell you that a dog's mouth is cleaner than man's mouth. This is the type of shit Esau say. And during slavery, Esau would use dogs to find and capture the Israelite slaves, that the runaways. And then when he would capture them, a lot of times he would use the dogs, the German shepherds. He'll use the bloodhounds to find them because they have excellent scent, ability to smell. And then he'll use the German shepherds to rip Jacob apart, to tear him apart. So the Lord's gonna use these dogs in these last days, because what you gotta understand is that when there's no food coming in for people, it damn sure ain't gonna be no food coming in for dogs. Okay? When there's no food for man, man's last worry is gonna be trying to feed people pets. Okay? And they gotta eat something. And dogs by nature are carnivores, meaning they eat blood. And the elder brother Irish Shah, he went into it. He said that there's a certain instinctive ability when a dog eats blood, when a dog eats meat. There's a certain instinctive thing that is activated within them. It's called like a blood meal, and it activates once that dog eats blood, and they kind of tend to want more meat and bloody food rather than that chemical, the munchy dog food. That shit ain't even real food, man. But that's how Esau, he's domesticated these beasts, when really a dog is, it's still a wild animal. It's a beast. It's not far from the wolf family, but then you have hyenas, you have wild dogs, and then you have these different breeds of dogs. But a lot of these breeds are vicious, man, in their true nature, and you're gonna see that come back, okay? Because a lot of dogs are gonna be free from their owners because the owners are not gonna be able to take care of them, or they may have ate their owner. And dogs like to run in packs. You in some cities in the United States, you'll see, well, maybe not in the United States, but in like South America, I know you'll see stray dogs, and they live in packs. There'll be different breeds too, but they'll be living in packs together. And so this type of thing is gonna come to America as this society breaks down, and the famine kicks in and the lack of resources. So this is Jeremiah 15:1. Then said the Lord unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, Yet my mind could not be toward this people. Cast them out of my sight, and let them go forth. And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, thus saith the Lord, such as are for death to death, and such as are for the sword to the sword, and such as are for the famine to the famine, and such as are for the captivity to the captivity. So you're gonna have different plagues of death, different sicknesses, different what do you call them? Pandemics. Okay, you're gonna have the sword, which is the gun, people breaking in people's houses, murdering each other for lack of food and lack of bread, as it says in Second Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 19. You're gonna have famines. Okay, all of these things are going to bring about these dogs being loosed, these animals being loosed. Because another thing I looked up was the amount of zoos in America. Now these zoos, again, same concept with the pets. They're not gonna be worried about bringing food to these zoo animals, man. Okay, and they're constantly, injecting these zoo animals with antidepressants or depressants to make them docile, tranquilizers to make them docile, to take away their strength, to take away their natural instinct and their natural ability. When society breaks down, these individuals are not going to be going to work to shoot them up with injections every 3 hours. The gorilla is going to be able to break out of his cage. The lion is going to be able to jump out over that little fence. I mean, these animals really being like, I mean, they may have like they may a lot of times like in the Cleveland Zoo, they'll have like it's like okay, you stand there, but then there's a fence, and then there's a deep drop, like maybe 20 feet, but then the gap between that deep drop and you is only about 5 feet, and then you have the lions in the enclosure. So I say all that to say this: if a lion is at his full strength, he could jump over that gap and over that fence and get out of that cage. There are wolves in there. There are monkeys that carry all type of diseases. Okay, and there are 2,400 zoos in America. 2,400, 2,400 zoos. Okay, and I looked up how many big cats or large predators are in America. It said there are 10 to 20,000 big cats owned privately in the United States. This number cannot be verified because most of them are kept secret. So that includes tigers, lions, leopards, jaguars. 20,000 of them are in the United States. And they showed you that in the movie I Am Legend. They showed you that in the movie I Am Legend. So the famines, the pestilences, uh, the sword, all of these things are going to allow these animals to be loosed. Now, as far as the dog goes, there's 90 million dogs in the United States. They said that there's roughly 324 million people in the United States. That's roughly one dog for every person. Now, the Elder Thumyaya made a good point that a lot of those dogs are actually small dogs. So I looked it up and it said that 31% of those dogs will be medium-sized dogs and 36% would probably be large dogs, which means that there will be about 27.9 million medium-sized dogs and 32.4 million large dogs in America, which brings us again to the prophecy, Jeremiah 15:3. And I will appoint over them 4 kinds, meaning 4 kinds of judgment, saith the Lord: the sword to slay, the dogs to tear, and the fowls of heaven, and the beast of the earth to devour and destroy. You see? So you got 2,400 zoos in America, man. Then you got 90 million dogs in America. Let's say 60 million of those are large dogs. The Lord is about to get busy on you, man. Okay? And he's going to use, you know, your best friend, so to speak, man's best friend, to do it. Now you had that one movie, one series, Tiger King, about the Edomite who had the exotic farm, zoo farm or whatever, and he had all of these different animals in captivity. In that documentary, it said that there are more exotic animals in captivity in the United States than there are in the wild. So this place is gonna turn into a jungle, man. Okay, this place is gonna turn into a open zoo. Okay, you're gonna have man against man. You're gonna have beast against man. Okay, and you're gonna have a lack of food, and you're gonna have a lack of resources and a lack of emergency services. And this is the perfect storm, okay, to depopulate, if you will, and bring mass judgment upon this place, America. Jeremiah 15:3. And I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord: the sword to slay, the dogs to tear. So these dogs gonna get busy, man. And in the hood, you got a lot of pit bulls, you got a lot of mutts, you got a lot of Rottweilers. You people like these big ass dogs, man. Them dogs gonna get you, man. You know, just last week, a so-called black woman got her arm ripped off and eaten alive by her own pit bull, man. She screamed for help for 20 minutes while the dog ripped her arm off, chewed her lung out, chewed her liver out. Just gruesome. Pit bulls, once they attack, they don't feel pain. They jaws lock and they don't let go. They tear. German shepherds, Rottweilers. People talk about golden retrievers. They're so nice. It's the nicest breed. Look, man, that golden retriever, you don't feed that golden retriever. Watch what happens. You don't feed the golden retriever, watch what happens. It's gonna turn into a wolf. It's gonna turn into his natural instinct, man, which is to desire meat. Oh, they showed you that in the movie Madagascar. I don't know if it was Madagascar. It's a children's movie. You know, I got a son, so it's a children's movie, Madagascar, and the main character, I think his name is Alex the lion. I don't know if it was Madagascar 1 or 2, but in that movie he hadn't eaten, the fruits and the vegetables that they was feeding him in the zoo because he was in the wild. So he started to look at his friends, the zebras and the giraffes and the other characters. He started to look at their ass like they was a piece of meat. His natural instinct started to come back, and that's what the Lord's gonna have for these dogs, man. And they're gonna be rolling in packs. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say dogs are natural carnivores? Question mark. It says dogs are not strict carnivores like cats. They're technically fac- fa- for facultative carnivores or opportunistic carnivores. Right. So they're gonna take the opportunity. They'll be carnivores when the opportunity presents itself. If you get them used to eating this, what do you call it, Purina and Imes and this different dog food, yeah, they're gonna eat that. But if the opportunity sets itself for them to eat meat, they will do it. It says carnivores traits: sharp teeth and strong jaw muscles for tearing meat, short digestive tract better suited to animal protein and fats than to high fiber plants, preferred preference for meat flavors. It says the bottom line: dogs thrive on diet rich in animal protein and can survive or even do well with some plant foods. Cats must eat meat to live. Obligate obligate carnivores. Dogs can be more flexible, and that could be true because you do have like the dogs, they'll eat grass. If their stomach is upset, they know to like eat different plants. Okay, but the judgment and the prophecy said that the Lord is going to use these dogs to tear, man. And there's 90 million dogs in the United States of America. There are about 90 million pet dogs in the U.S. Of those, approximately 28 million medium dogs and 32 million large dogs. Around 60 million total are medium to large. So 60 million dogs, man, is going to be out here hungry. On top of the wolves in this country, on top of the bobcats, the bears, okay, because the Lord said the beasts of the earth to devour. Now the elect will not have to worry about this. The elect will be protected. This is notice how the previous verse talks about the famine, because the famine is gonna allow these animals to get loose, man. That's what's gonna magnify their natural instincts and their strength. It is Job 5:22. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. Because the famine, people are not going to be able to feed they animals, and the animals are going to be loose. But animals have a divine instinct as well. The Lord oftentimes use animals to save his men, to protect his men, you know, not to touch his men. He shut the mouth of lions. He commanded the great fish to swallow Jonah. He used the dove and the raven for Noah. So the animals, they are in tune with the Heavenly Father. They're in perfect order. It says in Job 5:22, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. Animals see spirits too. They can see your energy, they can see your aura, they can see if you a demon. That's why it said that he gonna use, that's Job 39. Job 39 says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance. Okay? And it talks about wild beasts to destroy in that chapter. Teeth of wild beasts, that's what it says. Because the animals, they know what the Heavenly Father wants. So if they see a man of the Lord, they're not going to bother him. That's what the next verse says, verse 23. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beast of the field shall be at peace with thee. So the Lord's elect, they're going to be protected. The beasts are going to be in league with us, in an alliance with us. They may protect us. You may jump on the back of a lion. You may jump on the back of an elephant. Elephants are one of the smartest creatures on the planet Earth, man. Okay, you don't know what the Lord got in store for us. The pack of dogs might surround our house. Like this is how the Lord is going to do marvelous works in a time of trouble, because then shall be known who are his chosen. So just a quick hit. Lord willing to edifying, I want to say, call Halal Yamala Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachai Kodash, forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Call me Asherallah, Brother Yaquan. Shalom.